Just as in the story of Hansel and Gretel, where a wicked witch built a house from a tasty gingerbread to lure children to their death, so do some plants and trees use their sweet, sticky fruit to lure insects into theirs. But, unlike the tales by the brothers Grimm, this is far from fantasy. Carnivorous plants have been around far longer than we have. The oldest carnivorous plant leaf fossil was found in 35 to 47 million year old amber that was found in the Baltic regions. Stay tuned to find out which of these plants is cunning enough to bring birds to their gruesome death. Number 10. The Venus flytrap. Probably the best known of the carnivorous plants is the Venus flytrap. It's commonly found in homes as a functional houseplant. After all, no one wants a kitchen filled with flies. Originally, the Venus flytrap is from the boggy lands of North and South Carolina. They developed their cunning feeding methods as a means of gaining much-needed nutrients because, as the soil quality is so poor, it is unable to sustain much complex life. They feed by snapping shut the two halves of their leaves when an insect lands on them, trapping their unfortunate prey inside. Their finger-like thorns intertwine, making any bid for escape futile. They are not unscrupulous, though. They don't just snap at every passing fly. They only choose to close when the fly itself tells them to do so. That's right, when they touch the two trigger hairs on the inside of the open leaf, triggering a deadly reaction. But recent research has found it's even creepier than that. Professor Rainier Hedrick from the University of Würzburg, when talking about becoming caught inside of the flytrap, says, if you just sit there and wait, the next morning the trap will open and you can leave. But if you panic, you induce a deadly cycle of disintegration. This is because Venus flytraps can actually count. One touch of the hairs and nothing happens. 2 touches and the trap springs closed in 1/10 of a second. 3 touches and the plant starts producing its digestive juices. The 5th touch then releases the plant's digestive enzymes into the leaf. And the more touches the trigger hairs receive, the more enzymes are produced. So, the more a fly fights to escape, the more it's telling the plant to eat it. Alive. I think I knew a girl like that once. Number 9. The Sundews or Drosera. Also known as Drosera, Mr. Charles Darwin once said about the sundews, it's a wonderful plant, or rather a most sagacious animal. I will stick up for Drosera to the day of my death. Perhaps I'm not as profound as Darwin, however, I do think that they are one of the prettier species. Their long leaves are covered in sticky tentacles, making it look like it should live at the bottom of the ocean. But in actuality, they can be found in one form or another all over the world. Their tentacles all contain nectar glands that produce a sticky droplet of digestive enzymes at their tips, which gleam in the light, giving them the name sundews. Some sundew plants have long, slender leaves, and others have bowl-like leaves, but whatever they look like, they all act in the same way. Lured to the plant by its sweet scent, insects soon become stuck in the tacky dew, causing them to struggle. This motion causes the leaf to curl around the insect, wrapping it tightly in its leaves. Now, unlike the Venus flytrap, these insects are not eaten alive, but rather they drown in the sticky dew, and then they're broken down by the plant's digestive enzymes. Number 8. The North American pitcher plant. I know what you're thinking, but no. This plant has nothing to do with pitchers of beer. The term pitcher refers to its leaves, which have evolved into large lidded funnels perfect for the trapping of unsuspecting prey. The North American pitcher plant can be found along the East Coast, throughout Texas, the Great Lakes, and southeastern Canada. Unlike the Venus flytrap and the sundews, pitcher plants don't grasp their prey, but rather trap them in an inescapable prism by means of a pitfall trap. Insects and other unfortunate small creatures are drawn to the lip of the pitchers by the smell of its nectar or the bright colors of the leaves, but are then met with slippery, waxy deposits, causing them to drop into the liquid reservoir of the digestive enzymes in the base of the funnel. One species of pitcher takes it even further to guarantee a meal and laces its nectar with cunning, an insect narcotic. Once the prey is inside, it quickly becomes apparent that there is no way out. Waxy walls make climbing difficult, and closer to the bottom, hairs grow downwards, making any bid for freedom impossible. Finally, once prey hits the liquid, they are quickly drowned and slowly digested by the plant. Number 7. Monkey cups. A cute little name for a slightly sinister plant, right? Found from the tropics of China all the way down to Australia, monkey cups are a species of tropical pitcher plant specializing in pitfall traps. They get their cute name because, on occasion, monkeys have been observed drinking rainwater from them. Unlike the North American pitchers, who grow in the ground, monkey cups are creepers, using the trees in the forest to climb high into the canopies. Their pitchers then form on the end of hanging tendrils, attracting insects with the sweet scent of pollen. These traps work in much the same way as other pitchers. They are too slippery to climb out of, and so insects drown in the fluid inside. The movement of the drowning insect then stimulates the plant to release its digestive fluid, a fluid so powerful that a midge will completely dissolve in just hours. The majority of these pitchers will catch only small prey, but the Nepenthes raja has also been known to even digest mice. In some cases, these pitchers even enlist the help of other insects. One plant provides a chamber in its stem, allowing ants to live in it and to eat some of the decaying prey. The ant sits at the top of the pitcher and eats, and as it does, smaller pieces of its food drop back into the digestive liquid and can now be dissolved more quickly than a whole insect would. Number 6. The Cobra Lily. The Cobra Lily, also known as the California pitcher plant, is the sole member of its genus and, unsurprisingly, can be found in California and Oregon. Growing only in bogs and pine forests or other areas of poor soil quality, it's called the Cobra Lily because of the shape of its leaves. Large, bulbous, and curling over, they seem to resemble a cobra preparing to strike, complete with dangling leaves that look like a snake's forked tongue. This pitcher plant is a little different from the others and does not use a pitfall trap, but rather a lobster pod trap, meaning it's easy to get in, but impossible to get out of. Once inside, drawn in again by the smell of something tasty, downwards pointing hairs lead insects towards the gathered liquid at the base of the pitcher, where they then drown. Unlike the other pitcher plants, cobra lilies do not seem to excrete their own digestive enzymes, but rather rely on bacteria to break their prey down for them. Number 5. Bladderworts. Spread across every continent except Antarctica, bladderworts are made up of over 220 species, both terrestrial and aquatic. These plants don't rely on the scent of their nectar to attract prey though, but rather they lay in wait, ready to spring their traps as soon as their prey moves close enough. The majority of animals eaten by bladderworts are microscopic protozoa, but the larger specimens of this carnivorous plant have been known to take water fleas and even small tadpoles. The plant's bladder chambers sit in the water. On the outside of the leaf there are small hairs. As these hairs are grazed by passing animals, they trigger a reaction. A trapdoor opens up, the water and the unfortunate animal are sucked inside the bladder, and it quickly closes, leaving the prey trapped inside. Believe it or not, it does all of this within a 10,000th of a second. Pretty impressive for such a small plant. Number 4. Rainbow plants. The rainbow plant is native to the dry deserts of Australia. Although growing separately from other carnivorous plants, evolution has devised a similar solution to that of the sundews for dealing with a lack of nutrients: glands that produce a sticky trap. It's these globules of digestive enzymes shining in the sun that has given the rainbow plant its name. Their leaves and stems are all covered in fine hairs that secrete their sticky traps. However, they are a passive plant, acting more like a living flypaper trap as the insects hit them. They do not curl around the insects, but instead, the insects are digested right where they lay. Number 3. The waterwheel plant. Closely related to the Venus flytrap, the waterwheel plant is a free-floating carnivorous plant, catching and eating small invertebrates in much the same way as the Venus flytrap. It consists of 2 lobes containing trigger hairs. Once these are triggered, they fire the snap trap. This closes underwater in just 10 milliseconds, making it one of the fastest moving plants on the planet. Number 2. Butterworts. Now, don't let the name fool you. Butterworts do not operate in the same way as bladderworts, but instead are more similar in style to the rainbow plant. operating as a simple flypaper trap. Found throughout North and South America, Europe, and Asia, these are a quite common plant. This succulent plant has leaves that are a bright green or pinkish shade. These colorful leaves contain two types of cells, one that produce a sticky mucus, and the other that produces the plant's digestive enzymes, trapping and eating its prey where it lies. Number 1. Birdcatcher trees. Yes, you heard that right, but don't get too excited. It's not simply a gigantic fly trap big enough to catch a bird. It's a little more sinister than that, as these trees actually use live bait. Native to New Zealand and the Pacific Islands, these trees are able to catch and kill birds. After they have flowered in the spring, their seed heads change color, usually turning black, and start to produce a thick, sticky glue. This glue, in turn, traps passing insects. But wait, didn't I say this was a bird-catching tree? Why, yes, I did! So these trapped and struggling little insects now look like an easy meal to the birds in the area that in turn land unknowingly on the deadly tree. These birds soon become covered in the sticky substance themselves and will either get stuck to the tree or will fall to the floor as the glue in their wings makes it impossible to fly. If other passing hunters do not take these disabled birds, they will slowly die. Their bodies then break down into the soil around the roots of the trees, providing a nutrient-rich soil for them to flourish. Can you tell us about your favorite carnivorous plant? Let us know in the comments below, and clickety-click that subscribe button for more amazing facts. We'll see you next time.